Yeah. Okay. Tech rant time.
Tech rant. Exactly. Liam Walls.
I have a 1650 upstairs.
Yep, you do.
It is the dumbest video card in the world. The GTX 1050 Ti made sense back when Dell Optiplex systems made sense to buy used off of eBay and turn into cheap gaming PCs. The benefit of these GTX 1650s is they've got 4 gigs of VRAM and they don't require a PCI Express power connector. So if you've got an old Acer or Dell pre-built and you don't have a PCI Express power cable, you can just drop it into any old system and it should work.
That's true.
They're small enough.
That's what the 1050 used to be.
Yeah, that's what it used to be for. The 1050 was 2 gigs, the 1050 Ti was 4, and it just depended on price and what was the deal at the time. Here's the problem. Those old Dells are no longer worth buying. When a 6-core 12-thread Ryzen 5 1600AF is $85, when 16 gigs of RAM is $60-ish, I find very little value. 400-watt power supplies are $20. EVGA, I showed that on, I guess, Tuesday it was. I think that deal's still going on. I think that goes on until the end of today or end of tomorrow. I forget which. The EVGA 400-watt with $20 after the code and the rebate.
Yeah, that was on Tuesday's stream, wasn't it?
So $85 for the CPU, $65 for the motherboard, $20 for a power supply, $60 for some RAM. Why would you buy a 9-year-old second-gen Optiplex to drop one of these video cards in?
I don't know.
You wouldn't.
No. Don't do that.
Here's the other problem. With the ability to pick up like an RX 570 or an RX 580 in the $100-ish price range, if you're going to buy a new video card, buy a new video card. Buy something that has some performance to it. These 1650s are just...
Someone said, won't they be good for Intel 6th and 7th gens, though?
Why?
No. Don't shoot the messenger.
Here's the problem. Wonderful browse system. Desktop graphics cards. GTX 16 series. Let's start with the 1650 non-super, the L cheapos, lowest price. And let's go ahead and check new. Where's new? Maybe they're all new. Okay, they're all new. So this gigabyte here is available for $139. It's got 4 gigabytes of VRAM. An RX 580 has 8 gigabyte. Yeah, I know there's a 4 gigabyte version. Nobody should have bought that. And if you did, then, well, I can't help you. Because there's this $20 difference. It was never worth it. So it's got 4 gigabytes of VRAM. And it's really nothing special over an RX 580 or a GTX 1060 with 6 gigabytes of VRAM. It does have the benefit of not needing a PCI Express power connector, but again, what would you be installing it into that doesn't have one? And if you do have an old Dell Optiplex or an old Acer Aspire, first of all, anything with a 6th or 7th gen is going to have a PCI Express power connector. It's the 9-year-old systems that don't. But even if you do have a 9-year-old system, a brand new EVGA 400-watt power supply, which does include multiple connectors, is $20. So if you go to the Super, oh my God, okay, shit, please don't ever buy one of those. That's too much money. Here's what kills it. Now, well, when those were available for $199, that was a deal. Tomorrow, I'm going to publish the GTX 960 versus 1060 versus 1660 Super versus RTX 2060. Now, it's been on Floatplane for, 2 weeks now?
Yep. So our Floatplane float plane people have seen it, and thank you to those people.
And our $5 Patreon supporters have seen the charts
That's
for
true.
2 weeks because I post all of the benchmark charts as images to Patreon. How much performance difference do you think there is between a 1060 and a 1660 Super?
Not much.
There is.
A little bit. Like 6%?
Nah, it's more than that. But it's
10%?
It's not the kind of performance that reaches out through the screen and smacks you across the face with a cold, wet fish.